Okay. Something's working. Let's just let this guy talk.
Told by some grand piano when their character died. I want to know where those people were playing. Where the hell do they have a grand piano?
Something's working.
All of the games I've played have been round dingy little tables, people's dining tables, coffee tables in student labs when I was at university.
Let's just let this guy talk.
Places to play. Nowhere has had expensive space and a grand piano. What is
Okay.
Dr. Gary North, author of None Dare Call
Okay.
It.
Now.
After years of study of the history of occultism, having researched a book on the subject, and after having consulted with scholars in the field of historical research, I can say with confidence, these games are the most effective, most magnificently packaged, most profitably marketed, most thoroughly researched introduction to the occult in man's recorded history. Now, if I was publishing a role-playing game, now that's a slogan I want on the cover. The most effective, most magnificently packaged, most profitably marketed, most thoroughly researched introduction to the occult in man's recorded history. By Dr. Gary North. There's a quote to use. What is D&D? They keep asking the same question. After extensive research, the Christian Life Ministries concludes Dungeons and Dragons, instead of a game, is a teaching on demonology, witchcraft, voodoo, murder, rape, blasphemy, suicide, assassination, insanity, sex perversion, homosexuality, prostitution, Satan worship,
Okay, now the mic, now the mic, now the mic, now the mic.
barbarism, cannibalism, sadism, desecration.
Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. How do I sound? Am I too loud or am I good? How does that sound? I'm hitting yellow. I'm not in blue. Okay, that's 3 notches. Okay, I think we're back. Dude, that sucked. But it did give me a chance to add... Where is it? Oh, you can't. It did give me a chance to add this. You see that? Haha. All right. Now let's continue on with what was supposed to be a very fun night. I have other ones that I have to fix, but I'm not going to fix them right now. This is the main thing that I needed to fix. So let's just do this.
Demon summoning, necromantics, divination, and many more teachings. Religious pamphlet, a leaflet.
This was all caused by an update to OBS and an update to Elgato, and it just wiped out all my settings, and I could not remember a single setting I had. I did this months ago. I didn't remember jack.
Handed out to churches and by religious groups in the United States in the early 1980s.
Let me give a shout out.
1982, 1980.
Let me give a shout out to the channel that I went to for how to fix this, because he deserves props. I went to Senpai Gaming. So if you're not subscribed to Senpai Gaming, subscribe to him right now, or at least when the stream ends, because his how to set up your first Twitch stream. This is not even my first stream, and I'm not even on Twitch. I'm on YouTube. But his video helped me fix my settings. So Senpai Gaming, if you're not subscribed to him, go subscribe to him. His video really helped me out. So there we go.
83, maybe. All of the dates within the leaflet itself reference stuff from the 70s and early 80s, 1980, 1981-ish. So I guess it's from that period. Now, this is part of the satanic panic that was happening in the United States at the time. The scares about rock and roll music, about heavy metal, about Dungeons and Dragons, all leading your kids to start worshipping Satan. And I've been aware of all this. Obviously, I've seen the stuff in newer things. The latest season of Stranger Things has a big element about the satanic panic and people looking at Dungeons and Dragons as actually leading to real life witchcraft and demons. But in Scotland, we didn't get that. The reaction to you saying you played Dungeons and Dragons as a teenager was, oh, you're playing a kid's game. You're playing like Monopoly. And that was it. To appear grown up, of course, in Scotland, you had to play football or you had to go and watch football. So playing games, video games, or Dungeons and Dragons were all seen as a kid's thing at the time. So the Satanic Panic wasn't a thing over here, but I've read about it. I've seen things since. I've seen the Tom Hanks movie, what was it, The Dungeon Master or something like that, Mazes and Monsters. One of these terrible movies where he becomes his character and he tries to leap off the Twin Towers. Absolutely dreadful Tom Hanks movie. Very, very funny to watch, though. I've read the book by the investigator who looked for Thomas Dallas Egbert III, the kid who disappeared that they thought was because he was playing Dungeons & Dragons, and it turned out he was actually gay and he was getting repressed by everybody around him, so he ran away to be himself. But this was totally foreign to me, so finding this leaflet online and getting it pointed out to me was...
So his next one is to be Chick Tracks, and I know that one's easy. I might actually play that one. But I want to jump ahead to his more recent ones on this topic because I had a lot to say on it before my audio issues derailed my video. So let's keep going.
Fantastic. And I've read through it and I've had a whale of a time, tons of laughter. So I'd like to go through it with you. So, first of all, I actually quite like the cover. The clip art is very reminiscent of early Dungeons & Dragons. The castle with the clouds around it on the mountain with a trail going up to it. Very emotive of going to adventure. Quite a terrible little dragon and a nice little sword. I don't know whether these are lifted out of a Dungeons & Dragons rulebook, but they are very reminiscent of the art style of the time. Inside, what is D&D? Dungeons & Dragons, commonly known as D&D, is an elaborate fantasy game which evolved from the war games popular in the late 1950s. Instead of a historical battlefield and battle, D&D games are fought in the minds of the players as the DM, Dungeon Master, or God. Well, there's my first comment. I'm taking that. I'm not being a games master anymore. I want people to call me their God. I've always said that the various titles used in role-playing games annoyed me. You know, in Call of Cthulhu, you're the Keeper. In Dungeons & Dragons, you're the Dungeon Master. You should just be Games Master. Well, let's refine that. Let's just be gods from now on. But anyway, the god sets the stage in the fantasy world. Each player assumes the identity of a character he creates. His creature is based on the chance roll of the dice. Each character will have 6 basic abilities: strength, intelligence, wisdom, constitution, dexterity, and charisma. The manual guidelines will determine whether the character will be good or evil. Well, that's all actually fairly accurate. Good on them. They seem to actually know something about what they're talking. At the moment. The object of the game is to maneuver these characters through a maze of dungeons, tunnels, filled with monsters, magic, ambushes, and adventures in search of treasures. To survive, each character is equipped with special aids, such as magical weapons, potions, spells, and magical trinkets, holy water, garlic, wolfsbane, etc. They're also given more conventional weapons, daggers, hand axes, swords, and battle axes. Again, pretty accurate. The game is for 3 or more players, aged 10 and upward. Each player can stay in the game as long as his character is not killed, from hours to years. If it continues long, most players identify themselves with their characters, and the line between fantasy and reality tends to grow fuzzy. Evidence needed. I've never known anyone who's mistaken themselves for their character. Yes, sometimes in conversation we will talk about what we did, because we were doing it within the game, but we don't think we were our characters. I can see why people would misunderstand that, but you're telling a story where you did something in a game. If you're talking about Risk, you'll talk about you taking a certain area. You won't say, well, I was playing as Austria and Austria took that area. It's just the way language works. One authority concerning this game said, the stuff that makes me nervous is over-identification with the characters. I've seen people have fits, yell for 15 minutes, hurl dice at a grand piano when their character dies. I want to know where those people were playing. Where the hell do they have a grand piano? All the games I've played have been round dingy little tables, people's dining tables, coffee tables in student labs when I was at university. Terrible little places to play. Nowhere has had extensive space and a grand piano. What is D&D? Dr. Gary North, author of None Dare Call It Witchcraft, says, after years of study of the history of occultism, having researched a book on the subject, and after having consulted with scholars in the field of historical research, I can say with confidence, these games are the most effective, most magnificently packaged, most profitably marketed, most thoroughly researched introduction to the occult in man's recorded history. Now, if I was publishing a role-playing game, now that's a slogan I want on the cover. The most effective, most magnificently packaged, most profitably marketed, most thoroughly researched introduction to the occult in man's recorded history. By Dr. Gary North. There's a quote to use. What is D&D? They keep asking the same question. After extensive research, the Christian Life Ministries concludes Dungeons & Dragons, instead of a game, is a teaching on demonology, witchcraft, voodoo, murder, rape, blasphemy, suicide, assassination, insanity, sex perversion, homosexuality, prostitution, Satan worship, gambling.
I have more. I should put the other ones on the bottom, right? Let's make a whole thing about this. Yeah.
Jungian psychology, barbarism, cannibalism, sadism, desecration, demon summoning, necromantics, divination, and many more teachings brought to you in a living color direct from the pit of hell. Now that's a slogan I definitely want on a t-shirt. That's such a good list. But picking out something amongst that, Jungian psychology, which is the psychology of the conscious and unconscious parts of the mind and bringing those together. Why is that amongst voodoo, murder, rape, blasphemy, suicide, assassination? Why Jungian psychology? Really bizarre. But so funny. This is strong language. Yes, it is. But its truthfulness is established in a careful examination of the books. Look in almost any toy store or bookstore. You will probably find 20 or more books on how to play D&D. They are complicated, intricate, bizarre, expensive, many selling for $10.95 each, and popular. Oh, the 1980s, when you could buy a D&D book for $10.95. That'd be lovely to be back then. How widely used? According to statistics released by the news media, over 3 million Americans are playing D&D. The industry grossed more than $250 million in 1981 and expects a large increase in 1982, hence me thinking this was published in 1982. Many schools are using D&D, especially in gifted and talented programs. Special classroom versions are being produced. Some state-supported colleges offer classes, while others have cancelled them at the insistence of concerned parents and taxpayers. Well, why taxpayers, essentially? Concerned parents should have a control over what's taught at school. Yes. You should have a input into what your child learns. That is the basic right of every parent, to decide what their children is taught. But why do taxpayers get to say? I know taxpayers pay for it, but it's a state thing which should be run by the government for the benefit of everybody. But taxpayers shouldn't have any extra say into what their tax dollars are spent on. I don't get to say which nuclear missiles we get to buy when I pay taxes. And this is the start of a trend, because taxes come up again. Parents, teachers, ministers, youth directors, and all young people should spend time in serious research on FRP, fantasy role-playing games, because their use is escalating. The issue must be faced by all of us sooner or later. Yes, absolutely. Everybody should research role-playing games. Go for it, because we'll get lots more players that way. Other FRP games. New games are being created, more sophisticated and cruel than the original D&D, such as RuneQuest. We've all heard of.
Okay. I think we're good now. I'm going to sign out. I'm going to come back on. I'm going to leave the stream up, believe it or not. And I will come back on with a fresh stream, and we'll go 1 hour because I got to go to bed. I got to work in the morning. So we'll go 1 hour on this.
RuneQuest, Chivalry and Sorcery.
Okay. That was annoying. Okay. Okay. Can I rename the show live, or do I have to end it?
Bit of an older one, but I think many of us will have heard of that. Arduin Grimoire. What? I've never heard of this. Tunnels and Trolls. Yay, I've covered Tunnels and Trolls on this channel. Yay! Etc. In the rulebook to Arduin Grimoire game is listed as critical hit table. Oppositions listed are hit location crotch chest, results genitals breast torn off, shock. Hit location guts ripped out, result 20% chance of tangling feet, die in 1 to 10 minutes. Hit location head pulped and splattered over a wide area. So critical hit charts are a bit gory. They're not the worst I've ever seen, but they're obviously being picked out of a fairly obscure book, obscure game, because they sound terrible to random readers. On page 10, the Dread Vampusa, a macho beast man with writhing snakes for hair and a skull face, bristles with Neanderthal sexual imagery. His left hand holding out a long, sharp lance sticking straight out from his genitals, dripping blood, his penis hanging limp just above it. Now, I had no idea what a Dread Vampusa was. Prepare yourself for what that actually looks like, because I went and Googled it. And here we go, the Dread Vampusa. Now, what did that say? Neanderthal imagery? Okay, it's a naked guy. Snakes for hair, yes, absolutely. Blood dripping lance sticking out from his crotch, yep, absolutely. His penis hanging limply. Right, I can see what they think is it. I can see this. I think that's just a reflection of light on his thigh. This is obviously shadow. The artist isn't the world's best artist, but I think he could draw a Winky better than that. I don't think that's what they think it is. I think they're seeing what they want to see, which is obviously Winkies. Anyway, our Doings creator, Dave Hargrave, defends the grisly specificity.
Whoa. Announcement.
He states,
We got an
"It's deliberately
announcement.
gruesome. You have to blow a hole through that video shell the kids are encased in. They're
Oh
little
my
zombies.
gosh.
They don't know what pain is.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. How am I gonna do this? Okay, right here. While I was going through this, I don't want to call it hell, but I was going through this disaster of an audio, fixing my audio. Do you see that? Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Thank you, God. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, algorithm. Oh man. Woo! Should I spoil all of Wolverine and Deadpool now? Speaking of which, I saw the movie. It was great. Go watch it. Don't listen to the critics or the haters. They're stupid. It's a fun movie and it's fun. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this. This is a perfect ending. Tomorrow night, I'm keeping this set up. We're doing Satanic Panic Week starting tomorrow because tonight was pain in the ass. Rock and roll. Everybody, have a great time. Yes, this is still an anti-apologetics channel. Yes, I'm going to go back to religion. I need a break from talking about religion. It's been pretty repetitive. I'm going to do Satanic Panic stuff, and I'll do random topics, and then I'm going to come back next week with more religious stuff. Give me a break. Let me talk about a different hobby of mine for a little bit. So for today, well, I guess tomorrow, we're going to be covering the Satanic Panic. I'm going to try to do it as a marathon show. I want to go through almost, not all of his videos, most of these. I think his channel is great, by the way. If you're not subscribed to his channel, this is RPG Gamer. He has a great channel. Subscribe to his channel. It's a lot of fun. He doesn't just talk about this stuff. He talks about gaming and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to go through the Satanic Panic starting tomorrow. I appreciate all of you, and I'm going to call my wife. I don't know where we are in our marriage, and I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna tell her it happened. Wow, was this? Whoa! What was that?
They've got to understand that what they do has consequences. Will this say it is violence? It's going to destroy us. Kids when they leave TV land. So, Hargrave admits the game is designed for kids, supposedly took the reality. Life. Well, I think that's horrible. I'm not keen on what that guy writes at all. Having gory games and targeting them towards adults is great. I've spoken at length on this channel about one of my favourite games being Blood, which has massively gory critical hit tables. You know, your blade goes down into his foot